So you beat this game and you know it inside and out. You've learned all the mechanics, you learned how all the characters work. They've already developed. You saw how the story arc turns out, and you have completed it. Nothing is new, well, except for the story, obviously. You know, it gives you closure. It gives you a nice conclusion. So then you jump into a new game, and you start from the beginning, and they're laying out all the foundation, and everything's brand new, and everything's interesting, and you're learning new things all the time. And every time you level up, you get more and more abilities, and learn how to use those, and you're building out your characters and stuff. Hi, I'm Justin, and welcome to the XP Log, a daily-ish podcast about my gaming journey. And today I want to talk about starting a new game. I enjoy starting a new game. I like how everything's fresh. It's like a fresh slate, a fresh start. Yes, familiar things feel good, but also there's added pressure, so to speak, because you have already invested time in this, and you've already gotten so deep into it, and everything's getting more difficult. And if you haven't learned your lessons, then you're going to have a tough time figuring it out now, because now you're in the thick of it. um, and it's really challenging you, and nothing is quite relaxing, and the story's more high stakes and less fun usually. But when you're starting a new game, everything is innocent, so to speak. Everything's innocent. There's not a whole lot of mechanics usually to deal with. You don't have a whole crew of different characters and abilities and builds and equipment and crafting and all kinds of crazy stuff to manage. Matter of fact, if you're crafting, it's usually like, just put these 3 things together, here you go. But in the late game, it's like, put these 3 things together, here you go. Now take this other one and put that with it, and then take this one, bring it to a mountain, throw it into the lava or whatever, and now you have one ring to rule them all. I don't know. But it's more complicated. But yeah, well, naturally, as games go on, the more complicated they get. Okay, that makes sense, right? But sometimes I don't want complicated. Sometimes I like the simplicity of just starting a new game where everything's new and the characters are figuring it out, and so are you. I like it so much that I often start a new game after starting a new game. I haven't quite done that. I've sort of done that with Star Ocean, sort of. So, as you all know, Steam Summer Sale is in full effect. Okay, and I have capped out my Steam summer purchases. Okay, I bought Persona 3 Reload, and I've never played a Persona game before. Well, I have played one. I've never really gotten into one. It was my first one. I have Persona 4. I've never really gotten into it. Like, it was interesting enough, but the between the dungeon crawls or whatever kinda is an acquired taste, I guess. But anyway, so I started it because I read somewhere that the 3rd one is considered the best one. So I started it. I've only played like 20 minutes of it. I kinda just wanted to see what the deal was, how they set it up. I haven't even gotten in a fight yet. That's kind of the point I wanted to get to. But that game oozes with freaking personality. I cannot deny that. It's just whether or not that personality meshes with me. I used to really like anime and anime stuff or whatever, but I've kind of fallen out of it the older I'm getting. So I think it's more of the comedy and tropes part kinda gets to me, but that's a different story, I digress. Um, but yeah, starting new games. So, starting Star Ocean 2 fresh was fun. I realized I didn't get very far into it, to be honest. So for the most part, everything's been new. I'm now about 19 hours into it, which I wouldn't quite call, you know, the beginning. Uh, well, unless it's Persona, apparently. If I play one of those, that's gonna be a thing. Um, but but yeah. So starting that out, it feels good. It feels very similar to the first one, to be honest. As far as I remember. The combat is okay. Um, you get interrupted so much trying to do stuff. So maybe I'm not quite doing it right. Maybe I missed something in the tutorial and stuff. I don't know. But the combat seems more difficult than I feel like it should. I should note I'm playing on Galaxy, which is the normal. 99% of the time I'm gonna play normal. I'll at least start out on normal. Um, if I start feel like I'm hitting a wall or have to grind too much or something like that, I may drop it, just so to incentivize me to finish it. Because sometimes I just if I grinded and leveled up, I shouldn't have to struggle. It's my opinion. Anyways, but yeah, so I mean, I'm a pretty decent chunk into it, but I'm reflecting over when I first started it. And it's it's interesting, right? Because that game starts out pretty sci-fi. And then probably about the whole first arc is very fantasy. Um, I mean, obviously Claude is, you know, from a different planet or whatever, but it you know, doesn't really mess with he didn't have to be for the first part of the game. Um, like it doesn't aside from getting him there, and I guess maybe his motivation is to get back. Um, it didn't really matter. It could have been generic fantasy, to be honest. Um, however, I have now reached the second arc, and it's very sci-fi, and I'm very happy about that. Because that's what I signed up for. I wanted a sci-fi journey. Um, the the issue where you start off on one planet and you explore that one too long or whatever, and it's always an underdeveloped planet, even though they're not supposed to mess with underdeveloped planets, kind of like Star Trek and stuff. Um, is it always seems to be in the fantasy ages, but yeah, starting a new game. I've gone way off that. I don't know. I feel like I've probably covered the starting a new game part. Maybe that's why my brain keeps trying to talk about other stuff. But sorry, I have ADHD. What you want me to do? Um, but yeah, starting a new game, it's always fun. It's always exciting. It's always interesting. Uh, Sometimes when you start a new game, it just doesn't click. That happens to me frequently. Um, I guess some games are designed to hook you later. Uh, like they're designed to introduce you to the mechanics so you can have fun later. But a problem I have with that is I want to have fun now. So many times people have told me, "Well, wait till you get further into it; it gets better." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I want to have fun now." Um, and currently, I'm kind of, I completed the first arc of Star Ocean 2, and it's ramping back up again, but it kind of falls back into a little lull after the big arc, which is understandable or whatever. But that's also a big hump I have after the big the big, whoa, okay, some stuff happened, that's interesting. Then it's back to the, okay, well, what are we doing now? Let's investigate this. Let's figure this out and stuff. And then that 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 patch is always rough for me. Um, and I mean, it's around 20 hours in, so I'm gonna call that the halfway hump. Even though I don't know if it's halfway in Star Ocean. I did grind quite a bit to try to make everything easier for me. Um, I don't know. Hopefully I'm over halfway through because I'm like level 65, so I should be grossly over leveled. The equipment, however, is proving difficult. Um, but yeah, it's a Star Ocean 2 has a bunch of interesting systems and stuff, which they expand upon as you go. Uh, like I really like the specialties and all that stuff or whatever, and the crafting's pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, so how do you feel about starting a new game? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Would you rather play something familiar? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's about all the time I have today. Peace out.